Hi, my name is Nono Bokete, and I am a T4L ambassador. And today we are joined by none other than Johansen Rutahiwa, who is an economist with 15 years of solid national, regional, and international experience in trade, investment, business development, SME development, private sector development, resource mobilization, industrial development, mining, and value chain analysis, strategy formulation, and project management. He has hands on experience working with national governments, regional and international organizations, and rural and industry business communities. Johansen has consulted for various international organizations and extensively published research in these fields. He also has hands on trade negotiation skills as he was involved with the AFCFTA and COMESA SADC EAC tripartite negotiations. Thank you so much for joining us today.
It's my pleasure being with you here today.
Awesome. So let's dive in. Johansson, you work for one of the largest intergovernmental organizations in the region. Can you tell the listeners at home who don't know anything about SADC what its mandate is about, what does it actually do, and how many lives does it impact?
Thank you very much. SADC is the Southern African Development Community. It's an intergovernmental organization which comprises 16 member states on the southern part. Also, the island of Madagascar, Seychelles, Mauritius, and Comoros. The main mandate that SADC is trying to implement is to ensure that they're improving the social well-being, the political situation in the region, as well as the economical. So in doing this, we have got quite a number of the strategies and the policies that are geared to address this challenge that the community are facing within the southern region. And some of the strategy or policy that we are implementing is like the revised indicative strategic development plan for 2020 to 2030. Under this strategy or policy, we have got four pillars that we are focusing on. The first pillar being the foundation, which is state and security. We are saying that whatever we want to do as a region, if we are not well crafted in terms of peace, nothing will happen. There's no life, there's no economic growth, there's no political wherever. So we are saying foundation of peace and security is a set ground of this RSDP, and now we are coming to the first pillar, which is now market integration, which comprises of industrialization and trade. What are we saying? We want to ensure that the regional industrialize. Through industrialization, that's when people get the jobs, you get contribution to the economy through GDP, you get income. And in Africa, we have got the extended families who are always depending in one or the other. So you might find in a family of 10 family members, the breadwinner is only one. So we want to ensure
Mm.
that we prepare we enabling environment for all these people in the community to ensure that they're able to benefit from their own region. And as an intergovernmental organization, like any other, the focus is to integrate more. And when we say we integrate more, we want to have the borderless movement of people. One, you should be able to move from Botswana to Zambia freely without any hassling at the border posts. One moving from Zambia to Angola without any hassling. But as we are moving there, but still we have the challenge that are facing the region. Not all member states are really open to that kind of integration. We are still lagging behind if you compare with other recs like East African community, where now they are almost in a common market, where now people are free to for establishment in any of the country to have the job freely. So that's where, as a SADC, we are looking to move as a region.
Why do you think that SADC or the Southern African region is lagging behind the East African bloc in regards to the common market agenda?
It's not really that it's lagging behind. If you look on the integration index, that publication which is always released by African Union, there are six categories of assessing the member state in terms of the integration, the issue of infrastructure, how are we developed, the issue of the movement of people, their issue of the custom, their issue of energy, their issue of taxes, to mention just a few. So now ranking in all these pillars, you find like SADC is doing quite well in terms of the financial integration. That's one of the areas that is really doing quite well. But when it comes to movement of people, we are lagging behind when you compare to EAC. So we can't really say that as SADC we are lagging behind, but it's all the regs. Yeah, we might be good in this pillar of financial integration, but we're not doing quite well in terms of the pillar of infrastructure, and or we are not doing quite well in terms of the movement of people. And when this you read this report, you find the comparison is not only SADC and EAC, but rather it's all the regs, the COMESA, the
Mhm.
EAC, the SADC, the ECOWAS, the CEMAC, all this, and I mean the whole of Africa. Try to see which one is doing well and where the best practice other ex can learn from. So we can't really say that we are not doing quite well. We are doing quite well, but when comparing with each other, we might be slightly behind in one of the indicator, but not all.
Perfect. So you've mentioned some great things that SADC is doing, but surely you are faced with some big challenges ahead to try and achieve your pillars. What would you say are your top two challenges that keep you up at night?
Peace and security. Peace and security can be the first challenge. And why I'm saying this, you will see we are a large REC where we've got 16 member states, and always politics in Africa is unpredictable. You work to that today, you find there's a coup in certain country, or you find the country has been okay, there's political chaos. So as SADC, we always make sure that whenever there's such incidents, we are ready to intervene. And as we speak, we have established the permanent army or support in DRC, in Mozambique. All this is to ensure that we are addressing the peace and security. This is very in line with our strategy, RSDP, the one I've mentioned earlier, that the first foundation is to ensure that we have peace and security. There's no way as a region we can be progressing well in terms of economy and social well-being if other member states are still fighting. That means they can't come on the table and negotiate and discuss with the other member states because the concern will be the well-being of their own people. So as SADC, this is one of the critical issues that it's really trouble the region. The second big challenge is in terms of the infrastructure. You will agree with me that infrastructure, both soft and hard, is still a challenge, a key to the region. Take an example of I mean the airways. Flight. Airways where traveling in Africa is much expensive than traveling from Gaborone to Europe. Getting a flight from Gaborone to Lusaka, you have to go via South Africa. Luckily, if you travel maybe over the weekend, that's when you can get the direct flight. But look in terms of the cost, it's very expensive than one who takes the
Mm,
flight from Gaborone to go to the United Kingdom or to go to Sweden in terms of the cost. So
mhm,
it's really a critical issue to us. In terms of the road infrastructure, still is a critical issue to us. You find the private community, someone who is a business person need to transport the goods from let's say from South Africa to DRC. It can take even 2 weeks for a consignment to arrive. Forget about the stopover on the roads. and the hassling that they're getting at the border. And as we speak now, we have embarked on the issue of Kasumba Lesser border, which is the border between Zambia and DRC, where there have been a lot of noises from the private community that it takes a lot of time for them to clear their goods to both sides. So as Secretariat, we have tried to intervene and see what can be done to ensure that we resolve that scenario at the border. So the infrastructure and peace in the region, these are the really critical issues that we are facing. Maybe to add again in terms of the infrastructure, when we speak of the ICT, making calls within the member state is very expensive. Not easy for
Mm-hmm.
one to do the roaming. Now, if you compare
Yeah.
with our sister rates like EAC, where now they've got roaming, someone traveling to Kenya, Uganda, Rwanda, there's no roaming cost. It's like it's one network. But here, just cross the border from Botswana to South Africa, you are near roaming. The charge total goes up. Moving here to Angola is something else. So we are saying we need to ensure that we harmonize this policy to ensure that we have got one network, because we are talking of one regional integration, one unit, one destiny. What kind of one unit, one destiny if still really some of these pet issues that we are yet to address or we are unable to address? So unless these two challenges have been really addressed, then we can see the green light to our integration that we want to achieve.
Thank you for that. You mentioned that you've done a lot of different things across like negotiate trade negotiations as well as being in your field for almost 2 decades now. From your experience, how long do you think we still have to travel to maybe overcome some of these challenges around peace as well as around infrastructure? And do you see that something as a short-term goal that would be realized, or is this still a very long road to travel?
No, I think this is the short term. It's just a matter for us as technical experts and our technocrats and our politicians to decide that we need to do it today. And I can give you an example. There are countries who have been able to really to address this within a short time of period. Take an example of a country like Rwanda. For someone who has visited Rwanda after the genocide in 1990s, and early 2000. And now the Rwanda you are seeing after 20 years is totally a different country. It's even far better than even a small European country that the one we know. So it's a matter of the commitment from our politicians, from our technical and our technocrats. If they can decide that we want to change this, I believe it's possible. CFTA, the African Free Continental Trade, it was not an initiative that took much time to be in place. It was just initiative and political will of the President Kagame to say, no, Africa, we need to unite. Africa, we need to work together. And he mobilized his fellow heads of state. And now, within a year, 2 years, CFTA, you see the impact of CFTA as we have started reaping it. I'm giving
Mm-hmm.
also an example for my own country from the late President Magufuli. He led the country for 6 years only, but the achievement or the legacy has left behind. Some of them we are unable to do it for the past 30 years, but he was able to do it within 6 years. And most of them, he did it within 5 years, which to most of us have been saying, no, 5 years is too short. We can't be able to build the flyover. We can't be able to change the mindset up of people. We can't be able to build the bridges. We can't be able to have the reliable source and accessible source of power. We can't be able to have good infrastructure. But for him, he proved us wrong. He said,
Mm-hmm.
we are able to do this as long as we are determined. Because as SADC, as a region, we are rich of all the resources. Take an example of the all the mining that are available in the region. Take good example of DRC alone, the cobalt, which is a source of making the batteries and the automotive, I mean the energy cars. DRC alone has got almost 60% of the reserve globally. So the 40%, that's now where we're starting struggling, is Zambia, Zimbabwe, South Africa, and the other European countries to make 100. So Africa alone, and SADC specifically, 60% of cobalt. And in the making of the battery, the cobalt occupy almost 58% to 65% of the material that are making cobalt. So see this potential, we are sitting on it. Do we really need to go in Europe to start begging for the resources, for money to come and help us? And yet we have them. It's just a matter of refining them. But now the problem is we can't refine. We have got 90 reserve of this mining, but refining is only 10%. Now, with this
Mm,
kind of statistic, we don't think we really be able, really, as African, to be able to take a step further, because the added value is done in Europe, where they're taking everything. No wonder we keep on going and begging. But unless we have decided to change the way we think, I mean, our mindset, and we have got very bold leaders who have very focused and who believe that Africans, we can develop ourselves without depending the support of Europeans or the Arabs or or the Americans, because all the resources we have. And I always like to tease my colleagues, saying we are talking of industrialization. If we really want to industrialize, we need to focus on three areas. Never expect someone will come and support you for something that you're competing on the same market. It will never happen.
mm,
Someone to come and support you for something that we are competing on the resources or raw materials. It will never happen. Some come and support you for something that you're competing for the employment. In the other way, the income generation. It will never happen. Why am I saying this? If we industrialize all the resources that we used to export in raw to be processed in Europe, it will be processed here in Africa. That means we are adding value. The process of
mhm,
adding value, that means we are taking away their income, their employment. Because there are people who have been employed in Europe waiting for the resources to come from Africa to process and send back to Africa. These people are going to be retrenched because the employment will be
mhm,
created in Africa. These people have got also the factories, the plants, which their product, the main destination of consumption is in Africa. Now we as Africans, we are producing ourselves, we are adding value, we are employing our people. The market is here. Why do you need to export your processed fish from Seychelles to Europe? And yet you have got your next brother in Tanzania, in South Africa, in Madagascar, who can consume your fish. So you have created the
mhm.
market within the continent. You have created the employment within the continent. You have added the value within the continent. So, in a simple term, don't expect someone out there will come and support you to kill their market, to kill their employment, to kill their resources. So this is what I'm trying to bring people should understand. We have got everything as a content, but it's just a matter of having very strong leaders who really have passion for Africans' development.
You mentioned mindset a couple of times, which is something that at Transformation Leader we also preach, having the right mindset, being able to transform and believe, empower, inspire. And I wanted to understand from your take, because I do see that there is a gap between maybe the millennials and Gen Z, the younger generation, getting into the public sector and getting into these sort of spaces. What advice can you give them to start? Like, where do we start? What do we read up on? Who do we talk to? How do we get involved so that when it's our turn to step up and lead, we can lead boldly and courageously to achieve some of those dreams that you put, and don't even want to call it dreams, because that should be our reality. It shouldn't actually be a dream. Like you said, we have everything on this continent. So what's stopping us from achieving everything we could possibly achieve?
On that one, I think the issue is the reality vis-a-vis expectations. Most of us, when we're at the university or at college, usually we have a lot of expectations. As economics graduates, by that time the expectation was like, okay, uh, because I used to interact with a lot of people, yes, especially the bankers and some relatives, some good friends, be like, okay, which course are you taking? Economics. Oh, okay. When you finish, just come and see me. I'll give you a job. So the expectation is that you think after your first degree, you have a good job, you'll be able to buy a nice car, you'll be able to have a nice double store house within maybe first year or 3 years. But when you comes on now on the field, things are totally different. You need patience. You need to believe in yourself, the potential you have that. Okay, I'm able to do this. But majority we don't have, we are lacking that because after a year we have not been successful to get the job, we start losing the hope. Our confidence goes down, which is totally very wrong. Always I tell my colleague and my peer, believe in the competence that you have. Believe in yourself. Say, no, I believe I've got this competence, no matter what. Even if someone wakes me up at night telling me what is your competence, I'm able to stood and say, defend myself confident that if you give me one, two, three, I'm able to deliver. And we should not be giving up easily. And I'm saying this because of my journey to where I am. In most of the posts
Mm,
I've had, I had to apply almost 3 times because I believed that to myself that I've got this potential, I've got these qualities. Why am I not getting? Probably, okay, people missed my CV. I need to try again. So all this position, worked for East African community, worked for the government of Tanzania, worked for UNIDO, now working for SADC, all this position, I had to apply 3 to 2 times to be here. The first time, yes, I was not called for the interview. The second time I was called, but I didn't make it. The third times I showed them. And what I can say, as I'm saying about believing and trusting yourself, that okay, when you are called for the interview, whatever you want to do, show people that you are capable of doing. Even if you are personal business, you are looking for a deal, you are meeting a CEO of company ABC, that I want to get this consignment, I'm able to supply the ICT equipment to your company. Even if you've got, low capital for you to be able to supply, show that confidence that I'm able. Give me this consignment, I'm going to do it. And once you have been given that consignment or you have been given the job, show them that you did not make a mistake to give me. Because I believe if we say you are an entrepreneur, you got like a seed man, let's say you have signed the contract which you're supposed to supply the equipment worth of 50,000 USD and your capital is only 10K. What do you do? Okay, you have the first installment. You are able to walk in the bank, guys. I've got this contract. Once I supply this amount, I'm going to be paid. Please, I need a loan. You get definitely you get a loan. Not even if it's from the bank, but there's also microfinance who are looking potential customers to give them the loan. With your potential, definitely you get that loan. If it's the side of the job, you have been employed, show them that I'm capable of delivering. Whatever you are given, don't take it for granted. Continue with the same spirit, deliver it. People will see you. You wouldn't need to be bootlicking anyone for you to be promoted. People say, no, there's someone there I think is good for this position. There's someone there is good to attend this meeting. This is how people really will be able to grow. But it also starts with your personal believing and trust that I'm capable of doing this. And the good thing of our generation now, we have got various platforms where you can read, you can interact with anyone who you have never met. You go to social network, you find a person with a good CV, say, no, I've never met this person, but it looks like he has a good CV. Why not drop an email to or a message to him or her? Probably it might be potential to me. There are people out there who have got good heart. They will definitely respond to you. Okay, oh, okay, what kind of assistance do you want? This is how you want to be assisted. And the other aspect is for people not just to be running for employment. There's another way of getting into all this through the internship. For my
mm-hmm.
case, when I graduated my first degree, yes, I was like to be employed. after a month. Then I went for master's degree. When I came back, I was jobless. But I said, no, let me volunteer. And I remember the person who accepted me in his firm, it was a family firm, to be honest. He was asking me, one of the interview question was like, why do you really want to volunteer and we're not paying you anything? You see, we are still growing. I said, no, I just want to learn. I know through
Mm,
your networks, through engagement and meeting with various people, I'll be able to get the right job for me. That's how I came to get my right job. I worked with them without being paid any pen. It was just free. Looking for my relative to support me in terms of the transport, to be able to go to the work, come back. Then we got the consultants work where we had to train the government officers. I was there as one of the
mhm,
facilitator, but learning from my employer, but keeping on also applying it because I had an opportunity now to have the access to the newspaper, be able to go to the
mhm,
internet because I could not afford buying the bundles for my own from my pocket because no income generation by that time. But through engagement of
yeah.
intern, though for free, but it was not free because I was able to get the free internet, free newspaper. I'm reading. Oh, this organization has advertised for the job. Then I kept on applying. So unless the young generation change the mentality, once they come from the university, what they expect they should leave it at the university. Say no, we have got a degree from the class. Now we need to have the street degree. We need to position
Mhm,
ourselves. How do we really fit in the community? Because at the community level, even the person who you never expected might be very helpful. We know we have our friends and our relative who had a drop down from schools because probably they were not okay, much competent, or probably other social dimensions that made them to drop. And now they're very successful when it comes to business or entrepreneurship. For them being in the street, they are more experienced than you coming from university with your degree. Listen to them. Some of them may give you very valuable information that use if you add up with your knowledge and your education, you may be able to excel. So my advice to the young generation: let us really fast change the way we think. Let us make good use of the platform that are available. And last, believe in the potential you have. Never let anyone put you down saying, no, you can't. I know you can. Believe in yourself. I like this. The When President Obama was vying for the presidential, he had this slogan, yes, we can. Believe in yourself. Say, yes, I can. Because if Johansen has been able to go through this, why not me? What is the difference between me and Johansen? He has got two hands. I've got two hands. One head, one head. Two legs, two legs. So why am I not becoming like him? So if you believe in that potential, you should be able to really to grow. And honestly and frankly speaking, looking at my age and the position I'm holding current, it's not really commemorate. I deserve. I don't, because even the interview that I've gone through, I was most of the time I'm the youngest. I'm looking for competing with the people with 45 above who have got almost 20 years experience. But I really believed in myself. I said no. With this position, I know I've got all the qualities and I'm able to take the position and the challenges. So with that confidence, that's how far I've been able to grow very quickly compared to my colleagues who were employed the same day. Last week I was in Tanzania, my my home country, and I went to for in my home ministry where I started my career. Those colleagues who were employed with me, they're still officers. But I'm going back now. I'm meeting the permanent secretary. I'm meeting the minister. I'm not in their level. And I remember when I was with them that time, I was like, guys, I know one day I'll be coming back to this ministry, meeting your ministers and permanent secretary. And you, that time, will be saying, no, but he used to be our colleagues. We used to be sitting in the same office, but look at him now. I said that the time you'll be saying that, it will be too late because it'll be just a history. I'll be someone else. And it's like, okay, what I said is like I saw it coming. I went and everyone was like, Now you're not our level. You only interact with our boss. We can't even talk to them, but you have got access. You can give them a call. But I'm saying this is because I believed in myself. I believe that I have potential, and I worked on my potential. That's what I can say.
Thank you so much. I definitely feel inspired by this because you've given us some practical steps that someone can do today. As a university student, you have to be street smart. You have to work on yourself. You have to believe in yourself. You have to look for those opportunities, talk to different people, have the courage to talk to those people, and eventually things will open up to you. The best thing that I enjoyed was when you're like, you have two hands, one head. What's so different from you to the next person? And I absolutely
Mm.
resonate with that. If someone has achieved it before, then why can't you achieve it yourself? Thank you so much for your time. I really enjoyed this conversation, Johansen, and I'm sure we'll have you back again on Shayna's podcast. Bye.
I'm always open and willing to work with you.